Oh god, it's been a little while since I've started this car. It's in a pretty terrible state. God, look at the spider webs, there's so many. I don't know if it's coming off on camera. Whoa. Oh, I just saw the biggest freaking cricket or grasshopper or something. Wow, that's bad. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna need some gloves. The only thing that concerns me is this car did have a lot of redbacks. Engine bay looks good. Now we just have to check that terminal and the battery. God, this one is so heavy. Oh, the mirrors come off. The mirror looked like it was like just glued on. God, there's so many cobwebs. That's crazy. And it looks like the little inserts that you screw the mirror into are broken. I have to get into it. What the hell happened to that side? There's crap all down the side. This is gonna be fun. Oh god, there's gonna be spiders everywhere. Look at those gloves on. Probably shouldn't have parked it this close to the wall. Now I did tape that mirror up. It's fallen off again. Now I know the spider that's here lives in the door. Big black one. I don't really mind the spiders, just the redbacks and shit. Did I give myself enough room to get in? Well, it doesn't smell any like must or mold or anything. See if it starts. Air fuel pump. There we go. Still hear that lifter tick and that squeak from the belt. That's not too bad. Let it run for a bit. Okay. Oh, yeah, I definitely need a hazmat suit to drive this car. And drive. Just enough to get her out. She's moving. My gloves and that. Oh, I hope there's nothing inside here with me. That's great. Let's get her into the garage. Yuck. That's disgusting. Hear the exhaust rattling at the back. Oh, look at it back here. Oh, that's disgusting. Let's give her a wash. Well overdue wash. You probably recognise, guys, I got lowered springs in the back now. It actually looks mint. Well, after a good wash, she's looking much better. Starting to look like a car again. It was completely covered in cobwebs. Yeah, so this is actually the good side, where the mirror's fallen off. This is the nice side. So once we give it a nice cut and polish, it should come up really nice. So now I've given it just a little bit of a rinse. I'm going to move the 180 out of the garage. We'll put this in so we can work around it, and we'll make a little list of things we're going to do, and I'll show you some parts that we've picked up for her, and hopefully make this thing a bit more schmicker than what it was when I dragged it out just before. Well, I've pulled her into the garage after a wishy wash. She's looking much nicer now. See a bit of shine on her now. Looks good. Our mirror's fallen off, so I think someone's actually glued it back on, and the 3 mounting points here have actually broken off. So I think that's one of the first things I'll tear into. Up here we have some things that we have purchased for her, some brand newies, some things that I thought would have been just a good addition just to make this car a little bit nicer. So we'll be keeping track of every single penny we spend on this car, and then see obviously what we get in return for the whole vehicle. So in this episode we're going to just focus on putting some new things on the car, cleaning up the paint, try fix the mirror. We'll start getting a list going. Things like this, I want to sand and repaint these trims because this is all rusty, and I want to take the wiper arms off and repaint them, make them nice and black. So these rotors I got from Autobahn. This is a buddy of mine, Nick, hooked me up. Thank you so much, Nick. These are just standard rotors for these. Also got some pads over there in the shelf I'm going to put in because when I did drive this car, putting my foot on the brakes, I was so warped, and they did that. The ball joints are gone too, so it could be an issue, but I'm going to replace these. We also have some bonnet struts from Struts Australia, so we're going to put them in because this bonnet, you lift it up and it's like 1,000 suns trying to push back on your wrist. So we've given it a little bit of a wash, but you can see it's still got a bit of dirt on it. We want to get this as clean as possible. Polish it. I've got some Ultimate Polish compound up here, some Maguire's, and I've got a hand pad. So we're going to use that. I do have a machine, but I want to use a hand pad and show you guys that, you know, you can do it all by hand. Takes a bit longer, but that's the whole point of it. You can see, yeah, the rear's lowered. We did put the springs from my green EF, which is outside, in it, because I had to get a roadworthy for that, so I use the standards. I think I'm gonna keep these ones in here. It looks pretty nice lowered. Yeah, let's say we can't sell the car because the back's too low, then we'll put the standards in. I also have a Skyline wheel on the front, which I'm gonna take off and put another Ford wheel on. Now, I've only got 3 of these AU stockies. So when I sell the car, I'm gonna have to put 2 of those on the front. And I do have some FG wheels out there next to the 180, which I'm gonna put on the back, or I just put one FG wheel on the back because they won't fit on the front because the diameter on the hub is too big and the inside of the wheel is too small on the later Falcons, but they fit on the rear, not on the front. But the AU ones fit on the front with spaces because it's got spaces on it. But yeah, trying to adapt E series, A series, B series stuff, F series, everything is just a bit of a hit and miss. We also have a brand new battery inside here, which I'll open up and show you, or you probably saw that at the start. That's definitely helped because this car didn't come with a battery. I had to use the one from the other car. So far, obviously, you know, we got this car for 300 bucks. Brake rotors were 100 bucks through Autobahn from my buddy. These were 50 for the 2, and the battery was 110 or 120 from memory. Still just over 500 bucks into this car, which isn't too bad. The only thing we really have to tackle now is just the lifter tick and the squeal that's coming from the front. I put a screwdriver to my ear and on the cylinder head. It's a good way of just finding where a noise is coming from inside of an engine. It seems like it's number 1, lifters that are carrying on. That's not too bad. We'll start it with the rock cover off, have a listen to it, and we'll add some of that liquid moly noise reducer, tappet stuff, and see if it'll just get rid of that noise. If it doesn't and it quietens it down, that's enough just so we can, you know, disclose it in the ad obviously and tell people, you know, it's got lifter tick, it's quietened, it was louder, fixed it, all that stuff. We do need a corner light as well. If we can't fix that mirror, we'll go to the wreckers, we'll grab another mirror, we'll grab a corner light. And I think that's all we really need from the wreckers. I could grab a rear exhaust section, but we'll see how far we want to go with this car. All right, well, let's get digging. So first thing we're gonna do is the struts. Already pop this little clip off. I'll show you how to do it on the other side properly. You guys probably know, but for those who don't, hopefully it just pops off there we go. And then it should pop off there. That's good. That's one off. You can see there's no return on those. Gone. Now we're gonna make sure our new ones are the same. Someone on a pit bike over there is having a time of his life. I love seeing people out riding and enjoying themselves. I hate it when there's arsehole Karens that constantly have to complain about everything. True. There we go, that clips on. And now, up you go. And there we go. There's one on. Now that strut isn't going to support the whole weight of that bonnet. So we'll grab this side off. And what you do is just, I usually just get a pair of pliers, stick them up through there like that, and then pull away the clip just as it pops off like that. Should pop the whole strut off, and then it should be able to just pop off the bottom. Bang, out, new strut in. Simple. And that is another roadworthy item out of the way too. All right, I've just clipped the other one in. Oh, it opens up so high. Obviously the jack is no longer needed, or the jack handle. It's on its own. So let's see if it does the thing it's supposed to do. I hear them doing the thing. Bonnet latched, awesome. Let's open it. Oh, it's so satisfying. And it goes up on its own. Oh yes, I just love doing little shit like that to cars. Ooh, gets me excited. Sluts are done. I think next we'll get stuck into doing the brakes. All right, let's pop this wheel off. Take him off. Now, the reason I put this spacer is actually a spacer from one of my Nissans, but just a Chinese one. The reason I put these on here is to space it out because of this hub diameter to fit like the AU wheels and stuff on it. As you can see, I've only got 1, 2, 3 wheel nuts holding it on, so I have to go get some wheel nuts from the auto parts store. These brake rotors are very old. Yep. There we go. Cool. Just pop that cap off quickly. Looks like everything in here is all good. At least there's no moisture that's gotten in here. The cap's done its job. Pull that through. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna get some gloves because it's gonna be the fun part getting the wheel bearings and shit off. Just use a shifter just to loosen that off. Obviously you have your locking ring there. And that assembly should be okay to slide off. So I'm just gonna put the key ignition and turn the wheel to the left. Now what we're gonna do is pop our caliper off. All right, I just popped the caliper off. I'll move you guys out of the way. I forgot how it come off because I haven't done one of these cars in years. And I remembered from when I used to be a mechanic how they all come off. You just gotta pull the two screws out that go through the pins and pull the whole assembly off like that. Leave that wheel bearing in there and we'll repack that. Let's get a look at one of our new rotors. That's it. Okay, there's a new one. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so I'll get all the wheel assembly from that one, pop it into this one. We'll repack that bearing and the spindle there and put it all back together and clean up this with some brake cleaner. All right, now this is the fun part. Oh, you can hear old mate and his motorbike fanging it. What a machine. I think he's learned how to ride it because he can't change gears to save his life. All right, we've given the shaft a decent clean, get all the old shit off there. So I've just got this Penrite high temp grease, ball bearing marine grease, and we're just gonna pack him in, get him nice and covered. There's heaps of ways to do this, but you know, get all over your shaft, Not too much, but just enough. So what I'll do is I'll pack the inside of the brake rotor now, pack the smaller bearing, and then we'll whack it on. All right, that's always a disgusting job. That's all right. Like that. It's gonna want to come off. Got a rotor on. So what we'll do now, just snug that up. And then we'll do the proper adjustment after we put our pads in. Well guys, I was putting my camera on charge for a bit. I was filming with the patrol earlier today, and you can see our beautiful brake rotors behind there. And we have some bad news. I left the battery off while we were doing work to the car, and I've put it back on, and I've gone to start the car, and the smart lock has locked us out. Pretty common thing on these things apparently. The smart lock just does weird shit. One thing I'm not too fond of in the Fords, I'm not too familiar with them. I know they're pretty shit. I will show you what the car's doing. I'll grab the key, unlock. You can see on the dash the smart lock is flashing, and if we go to turn it to ignition, nothing, just smart locked us out. So I don't know why it's done that. I had the battery disconnected. As soon as I put the battery on, it sort of made a noise and then it wouldn't start. So I've spoken to my buddy, and he reckons to disconnect the battery for half an hour. And what did he say? He said disconnect the battery for half an hour, have the window down so when I put the battery back on, put the key in and go straight to reds, don't touch the car, or open the doors, leave it for an hour, then try start it. If it doesn't work, go off with the key and back on again. So we're going to try and bypass this smart lock system, which is a pain in the ass. So they literally just changed one rotor and pads, and then that happened, so the car wasn't too happy about being serviced. So I'm going to disconnect the battery. While we're doing that, I'll try and do the mirror, the other side, put the other wheel on. Hopefully we can get it going again. That's bullshit. Why you do this to me, car? Why? Well guys, bad news. The mighty Falcon has still smart locked me out after a couple of hours of trying to troubleshoot it. So yeah, I've tried a lot of different things that Brandon has tried to get this going for me. You know Brandon, he's the AU Falcon expert. So I haven't been able to get this thing going. So I was going to sit here. I can't even put the window up because it's smart locked. We tried a couple of things to trick the smart lock system. It was running fine before. So we'll bring you back in this episode when we try and get it going now. All right, ladies and gents, we are here a few days later, and we've been trying to get this thing going the last couple of days, and it's been smart locked. And we have Brandon over here, familiar face. He's come to give us a hand. He's brought some tools and different things and BCMs and everything for this. I've just come to show him what it's been doing. And could you do us the honors and turn the key? Magic. So literally, I go to show him it's been playing up and it started.
It just needed my presence.
It just needed his presence. The AU/E series god. So yeah, this is great. So we'll update you if anything happens, but we're gonna just do some checks on it and see if she's gonna comply or not comply.
Still went through it off camera and confirmed that there isn't actually anything wrong with the modules, and I've cleared all the codes and reset it. So yeah, she'll be good now.
Yeah, should be good. And I think just the presence of him being here has livened up the mighty Futura. So fingers crossed it stays like this, and if I work on it again and it shits itself, then, well, we're parting her out. Well, ladies and gents, that was pretty anticlimactic. We're going to do a whole sort of breakdown on what we could try and do to get this thing running again in terms of changing the BCM, ECU, trying to bypass the smart lock, whatever. Turns out that it just leaving the battery disconnected for 2 days, it's decided to turn back on again. So I want to thank Brandon for coming out again. Thank you so much. Another legend, as you've probably seen him before on the channel when he helped us with the AU over there. He's got some awesome cars. Doesn't have any Instagram or anything, so I can't give you his socials, but yeah, he's come all the way out here and given us some computers and that to try and diagnostics and all that stuff. But then obviously the car's seen him and said, "No, I'm gonna work." Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you for coming out again, man.
That's all right. Anytime.
Yeah, maybe the AU might blow up and then I might need your assistance with that.
Probably. Dropped off some other goodies anyway, so.
Yeah, he's actually dropped us off some springs for it, because I'll get into that in the next video, because we have to raise up the arse end of that to fit those blast pipes on the side there. Also, he's brought us a manual loom, so when he does the ECU on that, we'll film all that and he'll show us what you got to do to make the ECU comply and make it all manual and work properly. That's about it for this one. So we're going to continue on it tomorrow, and we're going to start cleaning it all up, and probably tomorrow it might go into smart lock again. So if that's the case, we'll definitely change the computer over or whatever. It blew an airbag fuse, but who cares? I'm going to put the standard springs back in it, give it a polish, and then we'll advertise it and try and make that lifter tick a little bit more quiet too. So a few things to do, clean up the interior, but that's all going to be coming. So stay tuned, guys. Okay, it's been a couple of days. Let's see if she'll fire into life. I've got to clean all inside there and get all that shit out. Let's see if she'll start. Had a fuel pump, that's good. Perfect. Those lifters are so noisy on a cold start. I'm so glad it starts though. Alright, we'll let her warm up for a bit, and we'll move the patrol. Alright guys, she's back. Thank God for that. Oh, I thought this car was going to give us problems. We ended up paying for a new ECU and BCM and then fixed herself. So I think, yeah, 2 days of leaving the battery disconnected definitely woke the thing up. The car sort of spoke to itself and said, oh shit, hang on, maybe I'm not trying to be stolen. So yeah, I think the car just sort of freaked out and we're working on it. Disconnected the battery, did the brakes. At least we've got those beautiful brakes. All new in there. We can continue. So it's actually looking pretty good. It's been just outside in the elements. I did fix the mirror a little bit, but we still have to fix it. I got the top to mount just off camera because I was trying to reset the computer, and now I just got to try and push it in and get it to mount a little bit better on the top. So I thought now what we'll do, I want to clean up these wiper arms. They look absolutely horrendous. And this rusty panel here, so all this top plastic layer has actually peeled off, and then all the, I think it's a chrome plating behind it has sort of just corroded. So if you look at the other side, it's what it's supposed to look like. This side actually looks pretty good. This is what it's supposed to look like. So we're not going to touch this side, that looks fine. So what I'll do is I'm just going to lightly sand this because there's a bit of, all this rust is a bit thick, so I might even wire wheel it, get rid of that, and we'll paint the arms and make this car look just a little bit better. Come around to this side, I gave this wheel a bit of a wash off camera, it looks so good. It was all covered in brake dust, and we have the FG wheel at the back. I don't have a matching set, unfortunately, but the car actually does look good lowered, so I think I'm going to sell it lowered because it looks really nice. It's definitely been lowered at the front too, that's before me. And then lowered at the back, it's sort of leveled itself out now, so it looks really good. So the back doesn't look too bad. Obviously this car has been under a tree at the back end its whole life, so the boot's just gone. I realise it's missing a forward badge there too. I think it's inside the car actually, so I'm going to put that back on. Just some double-sided tape or whatever. Alright guys, well without further ado, we'll start getting into it. So first I'll just mask around the edges here, just to make sure we have a nice surface to work with. So what I'll do first is hit it with just a scourer, see how well it cleans the rust off. You can see it's coming off straight away with the scourer. So if we just work on that section just for a little bit, see it's all coming away, almost got a shine back to it. There's still a little bit of pitting, but we just hit it. This is a pretty, I think this is a medium grade scourer. So if we just keep doing that, look at that, picking it off, even the thick stuff, because it's sort of like corrosion that's grown on top of it. So if you look at that, and then look what we've done, big difference. So we'll keep doing that, and then we'll prep it all up and get ready for paint. All right, so just with a bit of Scotch Brite, that looks so much better. So at least now when we paint it, it'll look nice and flat. It won't have any ripples. Now we've gotten all that rust off. It was much better than doing the wire wheel, because the wire wheel would have left some scratches. So we'd probably have to high fill putty it and sand it back down. So at least that rules that out, thank God. And then we can just literally go over it with some etch primer just to seal it, and then paint some black over it. So what I'll do now is I'll just mask it up, get some cardboard around here, some paper, make sure we get no overspray, smash it out. All right, so I've just given her a very quick mask, very basic mask. I've just used some cardboard, some towels at the bottom, and you can see we have a nice little area to paint where we're not going to get any on the windscreen or the windows. What I'm going to do now is I just have a clean towel here and some wax and grease remover. Quickly just wipe this down, give it a nice clean, get all the crap off of it. Then we'll get ready to lay down our etch. I'm just using this car rep etch, so it's a grey etch primer. Good thing about etch primer is it's a sealer, so we can paint it on there, seal it up nicely, wax some nice black paint on it, make it look schmicko. So we've got about wax and grease remover on there, and we'll just go over it and clean it. See all the rust and crap that comes off of it. Flip it over and do it again. So I went over it with the dry side and a little bit come off, which is good. All right, nice good shake for about 2 or 3 minutes. And then just very lightly, we just want to just tack it on. We don't want to Go heavy. It's a bit windy. Just a little bit of grey comes out. That's it, done. That's first coat. Not too heavy, because then what happens is if you see any fish eyeing or anything on this coat, it's very easy just to terps it off or whatever, and then figure out where it's reacting or whatever. So very lightly, you don't want any coverage, you just want a little bit of material on there, and see how it sticks. And then if it's all nice and dries nice, we can go heavier. That seems to have dried nicely, so we'll go over a bit heavier now. Well, let that dry off, do one more coat, let it dry again, and then hit with some black. All right, a couple of coats later, looking schmick. So I've opted to go for some VHT wheel paint, and the reason I went for this one was because this stuff is really durable. It's always out in the elements because obviously it's on your wheels. It's a nice finish. I'm not going to clear coat it because the other side is like a matty sort of finish. So this is like this will sort of be like a glossy matte, but it'll look nice, and eventually when it sort of wears, it'll match the other side. But yeah, this wheel paint will be perfect. It's a nice black, and yeah, it's just durable and it'll last being out in the elements all the time. So I've given this a good shake. So we'll just get a light coat, same as the primer, so just very light. So one thing I like about the VHT cans is they spray on really, really lightly. And we just want to get the black on all of the trim, like that. And that's heaps. First tack coat, go over it again, bang, bang, bang. All right, now we can get a little bit heavier. The good thing about the wheel paint too is it does dry off nice and easy. And the next coat, yeah, we just want to make sure we see no primer, and that's looking really nice. Flush it off, one more coat I reckon. So we'll go 3 coats with the top coat. We'll let it get to a point where it's just drying off, and then we'll demask it, because it's good to unmask when the paint's still a little bit wet, because if you leave it fully dry and then unmask it, sometimes the paint wants to peel off when you unmask it. So that way when we peel it off, it's nice and soft and it doesn't create an ugly hard edge. All right, demasking time. It's always a fun, exciting time. Also scary because a lot of the times you'll get to see how much overspray you actually got. But it looks like we're all good. Sometimes it's a bit scary too, because sometimes what you tape to, it can peel off all the paint. That was already like that before, but sometimes you can peel off all the paint you were trying to do. And the good thing is now, because we've just painted it, if there is any overspray or anything on the windscreen, we can quickly get some terps, wipe it off. The paint's still wet. Awesome. Last one. Wow, what a difference. Little things like this, guys, is just very critical. If you're gonna try and flip a car, just put a little bit of TLC into it. People can see that it's been looked after. Someone's tried to put a bit of effort into it. And once we clean up the rest of the car around it, that should look really, really, really nice. Quickly gave the wipers a very quick sand, clean, and hit of black. They look so much better already, and I've only done the first coat. Just quickly knock them out of the way before we get on to the next thing. All right, guys, we're inside now, and just off camera, what I was doing was just getting our head unit and everything working, because it wasn't working before. So I just had to take it off. For some reason, it just turned on. We just tuned all the channels. So now we have a working radio, which is much better selling point now. We've got a nice radio in the car. So now what I'll show you is a trick with the ashtray. Now, these are common for breaking the little pins holding the ashtray up. Usually what you do is you press in and then they comes down nicely for you. What happens in these, a lot of people don't know how to actually open these, and then they yank on them, and then when they pull them down, it snaps the tabs off the side. So I'll show you a way to fix that. The only thing is we'll just lose the slow opening, but I'll show you. So we pull our little fascia out here, just 2 screws on the bottom, one there, and then, so what's happening is there's little tabs on the back here where my finger is, right there, which is supposed to click in, and it clicks in to the little mechanism here. They break off, so it won't close again. But there's a spring that keeps it open. So what we're gonna do, this spring right here, we're gonna flip him around so it does the opposite. All right, guys, it's so bloody hard to do while holding the camera, but now you can see the spring is pointing upwards, and if we hold it up now, it doesn't fall down anymore. So it stays closed now. You lose a slow opening feature, but it still works. Now I've wrestled all that back into place. I'll show you now. So before it used to just fall open, and now it stays. You can open it, close it, open it, close it. Perfect. I actually figured this out on my own with the green EF over there, because I was sick of the, there's a courtesy light in there, and at night time mine was an LED, and it was blinding this whole area when I was driving. It was really irritating, and I didn't want to like do some dodgy sticky tape or glue or something, so I just pulled it apart and see what I can do, and yeah, I just flipped the spring backwards, and yeah, done. If your EF has the same problem, just do that and it's fixed. The only thing is you just don't have the push and slow open, but who cares? And I think it just makes the interior look a bit nicer when it hasn't got shit hanging around. It looks much cleaner. So yeah, I think what we're going to do now is look how dirty this interior is. It's disgusting, even the dashboard. So I'm gonna get some cleaning stuff and I'm just gonna wipe down everything and make it look a bit nicer. I got this Armor All stuff, like protectant spray, so I'm just gonna soak the car in this and give it a nice clean. Usually I don't use Armor All products, but I have it lying around, and obviously for a car like this will be fine. So I'm just gonna soak it all around. Got our paper towels over here. Things like this shifter is just ruined, so not gonna worry about that. So I just want to give this car a nice clean, make it all nice, all the plastics nice again. Like the rear and that is all really, really nice. The seats and even the headlining in this car is freaking phenomenal. It's not sagging like the one in my green one where it's all stapled back up, but it's really nice in here. Going to be cleaning all of this. I'm not going to vacuum it yet because I'm still going to be moving the car around the yard and stuff like that. So when we actually go to advertise it, when we do all the polishing and stuff, we'll vacuum it, make it all nice for pictures and stuff like that. But for now, we'll just get all the grime and shit like that off. Spraying everywhere. Probably going to use a whole bottle in this thing, but this will just make it really nice. Spray absolutely everywhere, even all here. So we'll just let all that soak in. So with the paper towel, start cleaning. Oh goodness, oh look at that dirt, my handprint, so much dirt. Oh golly Moses. Well, I'm going to continue doing this for a while and I'll bring you back when we got it all clean and sorted. Well guys, after a bit of cleaning, how much better does that look? The dash, oh, it looks so good. Even did the doors. The good thing about this is it's a cleaner and then it protects as well, so it leaves a bit of a nice layer. I think when we polish it, I'll go over it again, clean everything, but like it's just come up really nice, the whole fascia. Nice and clean. That's not dusty in there, that's just like a carpet material. I haven't cleaned like the kick panels and stuff like that. Under the dash. Now guys, when I flip cars, my favorite part of flipping cars is like cleaning them and just watching them transform from just like, you know, like oxidization and rust to like a really, really nice presentable car. Just off camera, I did take it for a little spin around the block and felt the new brakes. Car drives so much better, and I'm really happy with it. I'm just so glad that it's out of the smart lock mode now, so I can move it around. And just on the drive, I just thrashed it pretty hard just to get the engine working and just blow out any crap and everything. And she seems to, she pulls nicely. It's got a lot of power. The only thing is just that lifter tick. Now that we've given the interior a bit of a clean, I'm gonna whack those wipers back on, pull the car back into the garage, and I think that's pretty much it. Also in the boot, I found the battery bracket, which is good because I didn't know if they had one. So that saves another thing for roadworthy if someone wants to get this car back on the road. Now I was gonna paint this, but I think I might just put like some protectant over it just to bring out the color back. Saves us pulling it off and having to paint it. Let's go check on our wipers over here, let them dry off a bit. They look so much better. Little things like this, just gonna make the car look way more presentable. God, that rear muffler is so disgusting. Might maybe even try and find a way to fix that. You can see it's still on the hanger there, but it's just sort of just rusted out. So, well, that's the one thing I'm not really gonna get myself into. That can be someone else's problem, but as it is, it still does its thing. You can see I revved it before and all the crap, the water and that was in the back of this tailpipe. My God. Well guys, wipers back on. They look so much better. Just blackening things out, making them nice, getting rid of oxidization, all that stuff. I'm gonna close this back door so we get less wind. That's better. I am so happy with how this car's coming out. It's getting better and better as we go, which is the whole point of reviving a car and flipping it and giving it to someone in a much better state from when you picked it up. So I'm gonna keep this as like a 2-part series. Next episode will definitely fix up a few other things, clean it up, polish it, get it to its final state for where we can advertise it. So we still need to do a corner light, a clean, polish, try and rectify the lifter tick, finish off the interior, clean up inside the boot, just little stuff like that. And we'll be on our merry way to finally advertising it. Maybe one of you guys wants it, let me know. I do enjoy having it. It's a fun car to work on when it's not smart locked. But I hope this is some inspiration to show you guys how you can buy a really cheap car and make a bit of a profit out of it. Put some money into it here and there to make it much nicer so it can appeal to someone that wants to buy it and spend the money on it and have a nice car at the end of the day. So without further ado, I'm gonna end it here guys. So thank you so much for watching and following along. Stay tuned for the next episode on this series, and I really hope you enjoy this because it's a lot of fun to film and a lot of fun to make. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.